Okay, thanks to Kayo Sports, the only place to watch West Coast and Melbourne this week. Round 8 is on Kayo Sports and very thankfully a part of the West Australian Fox footy team. My former coach used to drop me all the time. Adam Simpson joins me. G'day, Simo. How are you?
Hey, Scully. Yeah, it was always well-deserved. Probably gave you an extra game too many every now and then, but yeah, no regrets on that.
Yeah, good, mate. Well, I've enjoyed your meteoric rise in the media since finishing up as coach for West Coast. You've been getting a lot of pats on the back, and a lot of people ask me favourite sayings as coaches. One that sticks with me from you is it's never as good as it seems, and it's never as bad as it seems. So how has the shift into the media been?
It's been good. Yeah, I think I'm just the new toy, to be honest, and sooner or later, if I continue to do it, I'll run out of vision to show, or things that I'm doing are a little bit different than probably most at the moment. It's just because of the coaching background and the stuff that we've done feels a little bit different. So I'm lucky I've got a few little platforms I can show some of the things that we look at as coaches, but sooner or later they'll get bored of it.
You've been a player, straight into coaching, assistant coaching, and then head coaching, and you haven't been in the media for 25 years. Has your perspective changed at all working within it, or is it still similar?
It's not miles off what I thought it'd be like, mate. Yeah, I think culturally it's better than I thought it'd be. I thought it'd be sort of every man or woman for himself, and everyone's sort of climbing over each other to break a story or to be controversial. And it's opposite. And I think it's the encouragement just to be yourself, especially at the Fox crew. And I've had nothing but help other than you. Everyone's been really nice and kind and supportive. No, that's just a joke, mate. You've been great as well. So the cultural piece, and maybe it's just the WA crew, I'm not sure, but I feel like both the radio and the TV have been pretty supportive more than anything. So that I'm not sure if that's normal. Is that normal?
Yeah, it's normal. You ask a lot of questions as well, which is a positive thing. Like, I think you're looking for feedback. That's what I was like when I came in the media. I felt like maybe if you don't ask, you don't get the feedback. Whereas in footy land, I mean, you were very happy to give me feedback on a regular basis.
Well, yeah, I think they're used to it as well. Everyone, or every person or player that comes out of the playing or coaching goes into the media seems to be used to the feedback and crave it. So I think they're used to having people like myself asking for it. And they said, the advice have been given, which I think you gave it, there's no preview or review really, other than, the game day preview stuff that you do with your crew. And then once you finish, you jump in your car and you get on with the next week. And I think that's because it moves so quickly, the stories and the games, and then it just goes from playing to review to preview to playing, and there just isn't time for a producer or someone to sit down and talk to you through some of your improvement areas. Although I think if the other thing you might have said is they'll tell you if it's not going well, you'll know. There's no feedback, then it's probably you're going okay. So I've had a little bit of feedback, especially early. I think my first game I did with Fox was in Mandurah, and it was the old coach monotone, which I'm still probably projecting, but I've noticed that with coaches that we all talk in the same level, and bit of night and day, bit of shade and light, or whatever they call it. It's probably an improvement area.
Yeah, very good. I've enjoyed it for what it's worth. You've been very, very good. What I have enjoyed is your tactical breakdowns, and I think people have started to see that. Do you look at that and think, well, this is what I've been doing as a coach for 20 years, and say, like for me, like I watch you doing them, and I'm like, this feels like Monday review. Like this is just you coaching. Do you feel like that?
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable in that piece, and I mean, as you know, try and make the complicated simple for players, and there's only so much you can retain. So I think presenting vision, I've been doing that for 15 years probably. So I don't find that as arduous as probably other things that we have to do. So, and I love it. That's the other piece. I love not so much the tactical, but the system-based game where it's not topical, it's more information sharing, if that makes sense. So there will be a limit to that because I'll run out of things sooner or later. But there's a lot of things we do from a coaching point of view that that we educate that you just don't see in the media because it's so probably two-dimensional really, whereas we live in a bit of a three-dimensional world with a vision that we have behind the goals, and trying to share a bit of that's been fun.
All right, I'm going to put my journalist hat on, media hat on. Do you have ambition to coach again, Simo? Can I ask you that?
You can, yeah. Not really. Not at the moment, mate. No, I'm actually enjoying a bit more time with the family, exploring different sides of business, and just doing some different things. So in the short term, definitely not. I said this the other day. I think when you get the itch back, like I don't miss winning, which is, I think if you miss winning and you crave that success. And of course, there's building something special with a group of players and watching people grow and develop. But essentially, you coach to win, and I haven't missed the winning piece. Maybe because we lost so much, I've forgotten what it's like. I don't miss losing, but I don't miss winning yet. So until that happens, I'm pretty comfortable just putting one foot in front of the other with this media stuff. And if it goes well, I'll keep doing it. But if it doesn't last forever, then I'll pivot somewhere else.
Yeah. Oh, the reason I ask is because I see your tactical breakdowns, and I was wondering, well, if you want to go and coach again, do you hold anything back? Are you going, yeah, this is how the set of bounce breakdown's working, but I'm just going to hold back exactly what I'm thinking? Or are you just sort of giving us what you think?
I'm assuming that, and this is the weird thing, we don't share stories or strategy with other coaches. Like for 10, 11 years, it wasn't like I'm sitting down with John Longmire going, hey, listen, mate, what do you do with your forward 50 entries? Like, there's no talk like that unless you recruit other coaches who pop into your system, and inevitably, and players, you pick their brains, and it's sort of the same stuff but different language. So the stuff I'm trying to push, and Horse is exactly the same, except he's working at Sydney still, so he can't use his language. I think we did one the other week where we spoke about the launch pad, which everyone calls it something, but they don't call it Launchpad at Sydney. And it's what we used to call it, as you know, Scully. So I'm happy to give up all my language because it's just another way of describing a bit of play. But every club's got the same sort of philosophy. So no, I don't think I'm holding anything back, and I will run out of the basic stuff that we've been teaching. So there's probably, I reckon I've got 3 weeks left before I start making stuff up.
Is that what you were like as a coach? You just got to halfway through the season, it was like, just go and do it, boys.
Well, the best thing as a coach, when we hit that, and you were a massive part of this, when we hit a sweet spot, all we'd review is knock-ons or just the hard stuff, or here's a great team D clip, or for the boys edits, that you guys sometimes would present, but for the most part, we would find clips of just the being a good teammate stuff. And that's when it's less about coaching, more about just getting out of the way. So unfortunately, that doesn't happen in the media. I think you have to come up with something most weeks. But yeah, I think it'll be more situational as we go this year. I've spoken to Horse about it. We might have to review a close game. This is what the offense was, this is what the defense was, and this is what they're doing, rather than just picking random parts of the game.
Red time and wings behind, and I can't wait to see that. Because interestingly, Simo, I told you this off air, but I'm about to be a head coach. My first week this week, Aquinas, my young lads down there. But you should see the game plan. It's 2018. 2018 is launched.
2040-60.
Mate, I tried to explain to them what podium was the other day, and they're like, what is it called, podium? And then I was like, I'm speaking to 17-year-olds here. Probably can't speak about that anyway. 2040-60. We've got, for interest, Daniel, who's laughing in the background. It's the podiums at the Leederville Hotel. That's what it was. There's a bit of insight for you, wasn't it? Correct?
I went through that on one of the shows, how we come up with it. It was like, what podium's a deep entry, it's top of the goal square, and it's the last resort. And then I think Cal Sinclair said, I said, what are we going to call it? And he said, we'll call it the podium because at a nightclub, the lights are coming on and the last resort is to get up on the podium. And
it's so good. That's how things happen, because that's how you get buy-in, right? If you come and say, it's called the trackpad, everyone's like, oh, that's stupid, Simo.
I think Hawthorn called it POMO when I was there, and it was abbreviation of position of most importance, or some scientific name. It was David Rath who came up with it back then, so I wasn't going to steal that one. So yeah, there's lots of language that you hear, and I'm sure as a coach, mate, you'll overcoach early. Make sure it's a pattern, not an event, is my only bit of advice.
I was going to say, any advice? A pattern on an event. Okay. I don't know what that means.
Well, if you see one thing happen, you feel compelled to get on the phone and fix the one problem. But if it happens more than once, then, it's a bit of a pattern.
Okay. Right. Only problem is there's no phones. I'm just screaming off a piece of scaffolding.
I can see you with a megaphone.
It'd be like,
good luck, mate. Coaching's coaching. Doesn't matter what level.
Do you think the megaphone would work down to one of my defenders after he headbutted a player out in the middle of Metricon Stadium? It just came out of my mind there. One of the great sprays I ever had, deservingly, by the way. There's been a few sprays this week. I know we're completely off topic here, but I've just said as a player, like I used to love them. And you, as the coach, knew if I loved them or not. So it'd be very rare for a head coach to be spraying people that he didn't think could cop it, correct?
Yeah, and I've said this a little bit, that you got 6 bullets throughout the year to fire, and that might be too many in this day and age. But there's the one that's the one-on-one, and then there's the team one, which when you do a team one, it might hit 75% of the players, and there'd be 25 who just roll their eyes or don't connect to a spray. So belittling someone in front of everyone, that's probably gone, isn't it? Where it's you weren't hard enough or you're soft or whatever it is. I don't think I ever did that, where it's just,
No.
And if you did do it, it was probably more accidental. You'd see it and you'd go, Scully, you're better than that, that type of talk. I just don't know if that happens as much as it used to, because Dennis used to be happily involved in giving some of those sprays.
Well, you might forget, but one day that we didn't play very well and was disappointing. The effort was poor, and you lined everyone up on one side, and you were shifting blokes to, played their role and didn't. So there was about 3 blokes have played their role. So Hutchie was one who did a tagging job on someone. Lecker might have played his role on the forward line, and Eric McKenzie, who just played his role every week. And then basically he was just like, nah. And then a player I won't say was, I think you tried to throw his name on the board, but it bounced off and then landed on the ground. And you're like, yep, there we go. That's how much you played your role.
Danny Laidley actually did the ultimate one was, you don't deserve to wear that jumper, take it off. You don't deserve it. And so everyone had to take off their jumper. And then the guys, there's like 3 players left with their jumper on. I had to take mine off. She actually said to a player, call your manager, tell him where you want to go, and we'll get you there. That's the biggest spray I've ever heard.
Yeah, very good. I saw John Worsfold snap a headband off Michael Braun's head live in person, which was very good. Mate, the last one, and then we'll let you go because I know you're generous with your time. I want to put you a little bit to the test with one of these breakdowns. One I haven't seen, and you might be thinking, hey, hang on, don't steal my thunder for the next 4 weeks. But the outside 5 rule with the manning the mark, to me it's changed in footy, especially over the last 12 months. One, with the adjudication from umpires, it seems like they're a little bit more fluid with it. But the way teams play it, some go and stand on the mark and man the mark. Some, GWS is one of them, they pull back at all costs until it gets inside 50. What's the difference, and how do you read how that's changing the game?
I think you're right about the umpires not as strict. There's nothing worse than a 50-metre penalty from that rule, is there? It's just overs in terms of
unnecessary.
I remember when it first started, it was killing some people.
Yeah.
And then I've noticed some teams did it straight away where they backed away from the mark, especially in the front 60, I reckon.
Yep.
And then some would, we'll man the mark. So we've done both. So we did both at West Coast the last couple of years. I don't actually know which one's better, mate. I don't know. I know the reasons why. It's just to help protect a bit of density. And if a team loves the short kick game, they're not going to play on.
Right. So that's more what people would be interested in. Is why would one do one and why would it? What's the difference?
Yeah, well, like I said, we don't share stories with other coaches. I can probably ask Horst to see if he did it. But I think it's because to protect, the further you pull back, then you can start protecting the 45s.
Right. So if a team kicks those short 45s more, you might say, all right, this week we're pulling back off the mark.
Yeah. I think if you're wide, if it's on the boundary, you're inclined to pull back and then come back and protect the corridor. I think that's one of the reasons.
Right. So
it's pretty much just support defence. And then if you get caught on the mark, you can't move, and there's an opportunity for someone to come right up and, almost get around you. So, I don't have the full answer, mate, but I suspect there's different theories, and I don't know which one's right. I really don't. I thought there was a little period last year where everyone was just going to do it because that's what everyone does. But there's still teams that still man the mark. So I think it's just up to the different coaches.
Brilliant, mate. Great insight as always. You've been a very busy man since leaving footy, and I've enjoyed your work across media, across SEN, across Fox Footy. And you can catch us, you and I, this weekend, Melbourne, West Coast, Kayo Sports, the only place to watch it live this weekend. you enjoying having me down on the boundary and you up in the penthouse? Is that?
I don't
just
know
finish with that.
anything different, so it just feels like normal coaching. You down there, me up there.
I just get sprayed less. I get sprayed less, which is good.
Actually, good luck for you, mate, this week. I hope you get your moment right.
Okay, thank you very much, Simo.
Yeah, mate.